If this video seems a little bit out of order while you're watching it, it's probably because it is. Hey everyone, it's Hurley from Clips. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. I decided to kind of do a more face-to-face intro for this video because it's kind of confusing as you watch it, and it's kind of a little bit unlike most of my videos because I included a lot of different cards in it that weren't really all my favorite, but I always know that if I make a card, it's going to be someone's favorite and someone's going to really enjoy the lesson on it. I made cards with really awesome little critters on them that you can shove little notes of kindness into tiny little envelopes on the front of them. So I started out with these two cards that I created, which are pretty simple, and there's a lesson on these, and I also included some that are more intricate with a lot of backgrounds and ink blending, and that's these. And so the videos on both of these. I also used some of the leftover pieces that I had to create some little notes of kindness and little cards here. So I hope you guys will enjoy the video tutorial on all these different cards in today's video, even though it might be just a little bit confusing. But without further ado, let's just get right on into the video. So to start out my cards today, I just stamped down all my images that I'm using from the greeting farm. I love these stamp sets, they'll be linked down below. And basically I'm just shading them in using Copic markers really simply, and I'm using a lot of them for my cards. And I decided to include a lot of this in because I've been shading it and coloring just a little bit differently, although it's still really simple. But I've cut a lot out and sped it up too as well, so you don't have to sit here through a bunch of this coloring. So for these unicorns, I colored them gray right on the outside, and I've been coloring right along the border lately and kind of around those wings as well. And then I just blended it out using a blender pen. Now this has really subtle shading on it, but I'll show you more as I go through here. Some of the darker shadings, but those are mainly meant to be white. They just got a little bit of gray on the edge there. Then for these manes here, I did something that's really fun, and I think it looked really awesome as well. There's not too much shading, but I took a lot of the different colors of my markers and blended them out together, and Copic markers kind of are really good at blending together a bunch of different shades. So I did a whole rainbow spectrum here of super bright colors and really vibrant colors, and I did red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple on their little like furry manes and then their little tail as well, and kind of continued the whole rainbow there. And if you have trouble blending them all together, or there's really drastic differences in the colors, you can use the tip-to-tip method or just go back and forth when blending them. Now for this cat, I just decided to do spots, so nothing really too difficult about this. I'm using 3 different colors to blend it out with a lot of different shading in here, but again, I'm just not doing too much. These are really small images, so you don't have to go too crazy with this, but you could give it kind of a fur texture as well. Now this is what I'm talking about with the different blending. I usually just stick with going from one side and having one light source, but lately I've been just kind of going around the images and doing the outline in darker, and then just keep doing the circle on the inside to make it look like a more of a round images, and it makes these little cats look like they're really puffy and kind of really fun little fat cats that are laying down. So I've colored some of these cats gray with the warmer tone colors because they'll look good on the background, and then I switched it up just a little bit to color some of the cats gray with different stripes and different patterns on them as well. So for this little cat, I'm doing some stripes on it with a darker gray color, and then I'm going to blend that whole pattern together and kind of soften it out just with one more gray color, and you'll see kind of how I blend all this together, still keeping that stripe pattern in there, and then I'm going to go in with the last and lightest color and just blend all that out. So I hope some of these colors and seeing some of these coloring techniques will help you guys out when you're coloring some of these images in. And for this last one, I did the same thing with that circular kind of effect, except I did it with the gray. So here's all my images. I cut them out just using a scissors, but there are coordinating dies that can help you as well, cutting them out and saving time. Now, I'm creating these envelopes with a little die from Hero Arts. I'm using these layering papers because they're white on the inside, so you can write your little note right on the direct inside of the envelope. I do still, however, like to fold up a little piece of paper or a little bit of money to throw on the inside of these envelopes as well, to create a little note or gift of kindness on the outside of your card. So I'm taking these little fancy dies from Hero Arts. Now these create little tiny envelopes for your cards. One is just a regular shaped envelope, and one when you open it up, it looks like a heart, which is really awesome. And again, I'll have these links down below or over at my blog as well. But these create some really cool little tiny envelopes you can shove little things in that are folded up. So I've run these through my die cutting machine with a bunch of different varieties of cardstock, and we'll be using a lot of these on my cardstock or on my cards today. So I cut these out, and I'll show you how you can fold them up. All you do is they provide you with these score lines once you're done, and you just fold directly on those little lines. Now I find that using a thinner paper is better, and it doesn't rip as much when you're folding it down here. and then it creates these really awesome little tiny envelopes like this. So now I'm going to show you how to create the closure for these envelopes on the cards, and I'm also going to show you how to put these two more simple cards together, and later on I'll show you the more intricate cards. So to create the closure, all I did was put a cutting mat right in between that first little flap there, and I already had it adhered onto a card, but I lined the top flap up, made a pencil mark, and then cut right there, just a little tiny slit in it that's really nice and clean. Then I erased that little mark on there so you won't be able to see it too much, and tucked that top flap right into that little cut right there, and it just creates a really simple closure, but you could do something really extravagant with it, but I just decided to keep it super simple. So I adhered some unicorns, one right on top of the envelope, one flying above it, added some Wink of Stella, stamped the sentiment that says "Have a sparkly day," and then I just stamped down some little like shine marks that came in the little stamp set as well in some yellow ink, because I thought I just needed something a little bit extra to add onto the card. So that's it for the first kind of simple card. This is how it looks, and then I did the same thing with kind of the cat card here. I adhered the envelope right in the center, just straight right onto there, and then I added a cat on the top flap. I added a cat just laying right below it, and then I added just a sentiment that says "Thank you," and then I stamped some little snoring marks in blue right above the little sleepy cat that's right below the envelope, and that kind of finishes off the card. And now I'm going to show you how I created the second two more intricate cards here with a little bit more of an ink blended background and creating more of a scene on the cards if you're willing to spend just a little bit more time on it. So for the unicorn background here, I'm just taking a little piece of cardstock and I cut it right across the card with a little cloud shape. You could also use a die or just buy a stencil for this if you want to keep using it over and over, but I just found this piece of paper worked pretty well, and I'm using some lighter colors of Altenew inks, and I'm just daubing those on using some finger blenders, keeping it pretty light as I go, and I just keep moving up the stencil that I made and kind of tilting it as well to create some little freehand cloud shapes here. And then this creates a nice contrast from that white and creates some really awesome little clouds. I also went in with just some excess ink that I had on the daubers and just added that into the white space to give it some more interest in the background. Then I added that onto the center of my card on some foam tape, and I added these little unicorns on foam as well to pop them up. Stamped down my sentiment "Have a sparkly day," that envelope's in the center as well, and I stamped a little accessory on that with some little hearts from the stamp set. Then I just found I needed some glitter on the card, so I added some little trails of Wink of Stella right from underneath the unicorns, just to add some little shimmer and shine. So then for this cat card, I'm ink blending once again, just right onto the card base here, and this time I'm just using the other side just of a regular piece of cardstock, just kind of a straight edge, and ink blending some slanted floors onto the bottom of the card where the cats can lay on, and I'm using varying shades of brown to kind of create each different floor with a different effect and different darkness of the brown colors that I'm using. So I created 3 different ones, again, all different tilts I made them on, and some of them kind of run into each other. Just again, really subtle, not filling the whole space in with ink, just to give a nice contrast from that white. So then I'm adding this envelope right onto the center of, or kind of more onto the top of my card, on a little tilt that follows the same tilts that the stairs are on. And I'm pushing that down right onto the top there, and then I'm adding these cats laying onto those little tilts with some foam tape here to kind of create a nice scene where all the cats are laying down at the bottom. So after that's all finished, here's how both of these two cards look, the more intricate ones here. And before I leave, really quickly, I wanted to show you what I put inside of these and what you can kind of fill your notes of kindness with. So this first one is pretty simple. All I'm doing is just taking a really thin piece and small piece of cardstock. I just wrote a really encouraging note for somebody who opens this up right on the inside, and this is just a regular card as well, so you can write a longer note on the inside. And then I put a little smiley face, my name, folded that up, and then I'm just gonna stuff it right inside that little envelope there. I just love these little envelopes on the outside of the cards. They're so tiny and you can shove little things inside. You can even fold up $1 inside there or whatever you really want to as a little gift on the outside of your card, or just keep it simple and write that note of handmade kindness, and I'm sure someone will love it. Then I used some of the scraps or leftover unicorns and envelopes that I had, and I added those onto some smaller little note cards here, and you can just tie these around a gift and put something on the inside of those as well as just a little message. So here's all the cards together. I hope it wasn't too confusing as I jumped from card to card, and I hope you guys will try this card at home and just create some little envelopes on the outside of your cards to give little gifts or notes of handmade kindness in. Alright, what do you guys think? I hope you really enjoyed it. If you did, please give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to leave a comment down below letting me know which ones were your favorite cards, the more simple ones or the ones with the more ink blended detailed backgrounds. If you want to see more of my videos, click that subscribe button down below to join the family, and also there's a little bell down there too. If you want to click that, YouTube will give you all the notifications so you can see more of my videos. I hope to see you guys very, very soon in another card making and crafting video. Bye!